half year. I work with MSMEs across the country, and I primarily work in the social business incubated by CMS called Business Catalyst.
Hi, my name is Nikhila Shastri. I'm very proud to be associated with Catalyst Group for the last 5 years. My focus areas has been in the theme of livelihoods and primarily farmer livelihoods. Currently, I'm part of a social business incubated by Catalyst Management Services called Catalyst Livelihood Venture. I'm currently heading the operations of that. How long has it been, Arya, since you've started working in Catalyst?
It's been 2.5 years for me. And for you, I think it's been more than 5 years, right?
No. In fact, I'm going to complete 5 years tomorrow, which it feels like yesterday I joined Catalyst, and I'm also surprised with myself on how I've grown from being an associate to heading a social business at Catalyst. It's been a very uh, amazing journey, I should say. But what truly humbles me is also that people around me have recognized my strengths. Uh, so in many ways, they have more confidence in me than I have in myself. So it pushes me to do things, to do more things, to do more interesting things. So yeah, that's been my experience. What about you?
For me also, I think it has been very different from the place that I was working. It was a different context. It was working with different people, and the people also around me were very young. And it almost felt like a group assignment that we are doing there. But when I came here, it was a lot more about establishing myself in the around people, and then making them believe in me, like, because when I came here I had a lot of experienced people working with me alongside me, so it was a difficult journey to kind of take that space in between all of them. So yeah, that was very enriching, and the work also was kind of, it has only helped me grow from where I was. And I just started with safe managing one project, but then I slowly started looking into entire organization, the entire profile that we work with, and different projects, not just like implementing, but then also kind of pitching our work, positioning our work, also doing a lot of proposal writing. So I also see a lot of growth that has happened because of the freedom and the trust that people kind of showed in me, and also the people around me, because they were always so, like, always so encouraging, like, so always motivating. And then each one of us had like that hunger and passion to do certain things for the community that we want to work with. So it has been that kind of experience for me as well. But tell me, Nikhila, how does it feel like working as a woman in this organization, and then also working with the women community that you do? Where is it coming from? Like, how did you decide that you want to do this, and you see your passion emerging here?
It's a very reflecting question, right? I would also need some time to reflect it. But so my journey uh, in this space began like 8 years ago. Before that, I was working in a tech company, but I was more inclined towards moving towards the social sector space and doing something for the community. I had no clue what I was supposed to do, but there were certain experiences in my life that has actually shaped me to where I am today, right? So, as a woman, you actually mentioned, I mean, be it a man or a woman, everybody gets to know, right? But growing up, I watched one of my closer relatives set aside a part of her salary without telling her husband, just because she can secure a future for her and for her children. I also watched a friend of mine give up her job because marriage came with certain conditions. I watched a woman who was physically abused just because she questioned. I watched a woman labeled selfish just because she wanted more. What else? I mean, I could think of countless situations like this where I had seen women actually thrive and they had to make choices which they were never supposed to make it in the first place. Right? So, growing up, I see that women were never truly free, not in their finances, not in their choices, not even in their homes. Right? So, and at one point of time, I mean, for a long part of my life, I thought this is how life is supposed to be until I realized this isn't, right? So when I said I moved from technology to the social sector space, I had no clue. So I joined Tara Institute of Social Sciences in Bombay, and that is the best decision of my life because it opened up my eyes to the actual real world and it made me question all the norms. Starting with why should women be given permission to do something? That's not empowerment.
Mm.
Empowerment is about uh, is to never ask for permission, right? So that's the system, that's the support system you're creating for the women. So that's what fuels me today to keep doing more and more interesting things. Also to work alongside women to bring change in their, some a little change, right?
Yeah.
I'm just a drop in the ocean
Yeah.
or maybe a fraction of it, but I'm lucky that way, to have made those choices. Those experiences only have shaped me to where I am today. So let me turn this to you. Tell me what has happened in your life, in your past, that has made you to maybe let's say be in Catalyst and work with the women. I know about your work.
Yeah.
So
So I would also make it like a personal and professional kind of an experience for me as well. So personal, I would say I have always seen my mother, growing up. I've always seen her taking charge of things around her. Like even though I somehow I think I was talking to you, the business that you are also trying to set up, she actually tried it and that took way back, like that courage. So that courage, and that was not just that business but also how she kind of gave us all the freedom to make those choices and also protected us that we are also getting treated the same way the other the male or the other kids are. We had a lot of struggle while we were growing up, but then she ensured that she's taking charge, ownership, and that responsibility to make things better for us, for the four of us, for the four of our family member. So that's where I think I got that feeling that everybody should be given that choice and should you should understand the power that they hold within, like to change things, to just have that access to that opportunity or to that kind of a confidence, or also to a space which is safe. Like I think she was able to do all of this is also because she had my father around her, because he was always supporting and he was always agreeing to all the choices that we were making. So I think it is mostly coming from there, because I've seen her struggle, fail, get up again, do, I don't know, she has maybe done 10 different things to earn a livelihood, and just to understand that what is working better, what is not working. So I think it's mostly primarily coming from there. And then my own professional experiences which I encountered, I mean, it has really changed me as a person. So the first ever impact, if I could just say, in the professional space that I witnessed was when I was in a village in a block called Kekri in Rajasthan. There, a woman I met was a skilled tailor. Like she used to stitch clothes, but she was always told that this is just a hobby. You cannot do anything about it. It's just a hobby, and good that you are doing it, but then you cannot do beyond a certain point. But then she got to know about certain programs, certain people who can help her build this further. So she got some capital, some loan, and some training as well. And then she started her own tailoring unit. And from there, she employed three more women under her, and then like now they are running that unit together. That was the moment I realized that it is not just the finance that was required for her to start that business. It was also that confidence, that access to an opportunity that made her do certain, like turn the tables for herself and then kind of employ other people to her own venture too. So I just realized that okay, it's just not about that, if I have this only, then only I can do this. It's just, that instill that, oh, I know that it will work for you. You have that thing in you. Maybe you should just try. Those are the things where we also need to put our efforts to, like, create that impact that we are talking about, not just, supporting in, say, giving some funding or some, capacity building or some just like tools for them to just, go about it. Do you have any similar experiences that you have witnessed that has left you feel that this is the moment that I want to work for the entire life?
Uh, there were these two community women who were part of a farmer producer organization. They had traveled to Delhi for a conference on women based community organizations, right? And they both are leaders in the organization. What struck me is not that they traveled, but for the women as an individual, it's her first time to travel on a train. Can you think about it that, all her life, for about 28 to 30 years, I think she has never traveled on a train. I'm very happy to see their smiling faces, the joy, the pride, and it made me think. I mean, we take these things for granted,
Yeah.
right? For us, these are all, we've had these experiences for quite some time. So it's her first train journey together, it's her first flight, and being part of a larger association, a conference where, many women have come to talk about, what they've achieved in their lives over the last few years. So while that is, I'm lucky to witness this, that journey of hers. But I was not instrumental in in that journey, right? Because I just came. I joined Catalyst 6 years ago. 5 years ago. But these seeds were sown by Catalyst over the last 3 decades, right? And these farmer producer organizations also have come a decade ago almost, right? So the seeds were sown then, right? And there's a lot of capacity building that has gone in these communities, and now you're able to see those the fruits, right? So I'm just lucky to witness that.
Correct.
Right? And then I realized, okay, this is something I want to see, and I'm more of a action person. I just want action on ground. I want things to just finish on time. But these stories is something that makes me reflect, and also that it instills in me that confidence, and also the patience that I need to have, that okay, your work is not going to have an impact overnight,
Yes.
but it's going to take decades and decades.
I think just to add to that, like, when we were also discussing, I think what you're also saying, accelerating action, like that you also like to do, it's just not like a phrase for us, right? It's like that, it's like those journey that people have lived, the small victories, the small wins that they are just saying. Because you just mentioned the power of, the collaboration, and then because the FPO collectives, I just also witnessed this one story where the woman from a village in Attapadi district of Kerala. Attapadi is a place, a small village. There they, they were making food just for their own survival. It was not like a business or anything. Until one day when they thought, and the recipes also were just, only the community knew that recipes. It was a special tribal herbal chicken that they were making in a bamboo kind of a vessel, and then it was just like a recipe that was known to the community there. But then the group of women, 10 women I think, they came together, and then they decided to go to this one very big platform of India Food Court. It's a platform where we used to have people from across the country coming together and preparing the food for them. And there they kind of sold their entire that herbal chicken, and I am not kidding you, Nikita. It was the best dish that was sold in the entire food festival, and people were more interested in the story because
Yeah.
while they were serving it, they were also telling that this is just not a dish for us. It's something that we cook in our community, and we are taking it out for you all to also witness it. So that also kind of gave them that space to that action of coming together, of collaborating, and then because alone they were like one person would not be able to take it out, right? But then they came together and then they took it out for the world to witness it, and then there was no stopping back, and then now they are running an enterprise like a canteen setup. So I think both of us, I think, feel that way. I think accelerating action is just not about like we are seeing the seeds, like we're not seeing the seeds, but we're seeing the fruits of it. But it takes a lot of time and effort and lot of perseverance and patience for them also to come out of and then they go and become like a like a mascot. Like they also do things which is required for the entire community to also, like you say, one woman uplifts so many other women. I
Yeah.
think
It creates a multiplier effect,
Correct.
right? When you invest in one woman, you're not just investing in her alone, right?
Yeah.
Because when you invest in one woman, she also uplifts her family, she
Correct.
uplifts her community
Correct.
and the people around her,
Yeah.
and she brings that that inspiration for
Correct.
the future generation.
And I feel the sense of responsibility that they hold.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
nobody else do it that way. Again, one more thing. So there's this one woman that I worked with. She has not done any formal education. She's from Bodh Gaya in Bihar, and she has not done any formal education. But then she always felt that there is a responsibility on her shoulder to uplift her community members, to do something for the women of her community, of her network. So she became like a president of an association, and then she said that okay, I am going to take that ownership to help other women, improve their livelihoods and thrive and all. But because she wanted to encapsulate that sense of ownership and responsibility, she learned and decided to become an entrepreneur herself first. She said that I can only preach what I am doing, right? So she became an entrepreneur, and then she repaid all the loans that she had took for her business, to show other women that see, if I can become an entrepreneur, I can pay the loan, you can also earn money and pay the loan so that it can benefit the other women of the community. So that is where I think those actions are actually going to, like whatever people like you and me are doing should and will translate to what we are just discussing, is what I feel.
Okay, yeah, we have been working with various communities, right? And if I had to talk about women, we work with small and marginal farmers. Again, I'll not say women farmers, women are farmers, right? Then we work with transgender communities, we work with sex workers, we work with the fish vendors, right? I mean, everyone, I'm just saying a few right now, right? And we have seen how they have evolved over the years, right? Through the work that many institutions are doing, in fact, Catalyst is doing. What do you think about the players in the ecosystem who are supporting these communities? About their approach? Has their approach changed over the years? And do you see any shift in the way they are thinking to enabling these communities?
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
So I do think that the approach has changed. I will talk about working with women entrepreneurs.
I wish that changed sometime in the
Yes.
future.
So right now we need to have like a special intervention for specifically focusing on women entrepreneurs. I wish that also changes with time, and they are as capable, and they are already. But then people start treating them as capable as they treat other entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So I can talk to you about two instances or two experiences that I have had with this particular question. So I feel that the shift has already begun. Like people or the clients or the donors, the funders in the ecosystem were already was mostly focusing on soft skills development in terms of capacity building or like giving them a skill training so that they can start something. But still, but then I see that that focus has shifted to develop those hard skills of negotiation, business management, leadership, and then having those position of power where you can also co-create solutions for other people. So I do see that shift has started. It is starting in few places and few pockets, but it's still coming. I'll give you an example of how it has changed the way community is working now.
Yeah.
So I had this idea of developing a resource pool, a community resource pool with the community leaders. And when I took this idea to my team, and like they were like, oh, no, you know what, it is going to be very difficult. They are not, we're talking about building capacity of somebody who still requires a lot of support from us, and then you are thinking that they're going to go and build capacity of somebody else, like to a different state altogether and different context altogether. And not all of them are coming from a privileged background of having a formal education or having that space or that position to take decisions for themselves. But then we kind of agreed and disagreed and kind of said that okay, let's try. And then I spent like good 6 months with that community to enable them to support them in having those capabilities to go and mentor other people. And it was difficult. We could not go with the regular methodologies that we do. It had to be customized. It had to be more experience based. It had to be more pictorial. It cannot be like heavy on reading, writing, thinking, reflecting, but mostly on their experiences. And I felt that when that particular leaders, those leaders, they went from Bihar to UP to give the training to other people, the way they were using the flip charts that only had pictures to just flip it and talk to the people. Not they were not just they did not went there to be a listener, but then they went there to be a leader to teach other people as to how you can be or what you should aspire to be to uplift your community. And then the way they were using those flip chart, the way they were talking about their experience was something like already a change that I could see happening. So if they are ready to become leader, take those hard skills, take those position of responsibilities, I think there is high time that ecosystem also changes in that way, not just be limited to the soft skill or just giving the funds or just like they are capable, they're already showcasing us enough for examples, and now I think the shift should be in those direction. What do you think about the women farmers that you work with? How is it changing for them?
So, before I answer that, let me just tell you a similar experience I had just 2 days ago with Raghu.
Okay.
So you were pitching about your idea, right? Why don't you the women go and train? So we were just working on one framework on how can the women from these SHGs what kind of capacity building we need to do, how can we make them into these leaders of this producer collectives. That's the discussion we are having, and I just had one idea that why can't these women who are beneficiaries, right? Beneficiaries of various programs. Why can't now they are formed into SHGs and they have a very good capital, right? And they have this financial independence as well. So why can't they move from being a beneficiary to being a investor in one of the farmer producer organizations, right? Because they have a lot of money in their accounts. I mean, not as an individual, but the SHG accounts, the CNF accounts and all. So I was told that there was already an evidence that it will not happen, because why would someone invest? So one question was asked to me: if let's say you are there and there's your neighbor, will you invest in your neighbor's business, right? Why not? I said no. So the question, the answer, what's the reason for it? Because I don't know that person. So similarly, the SHGs also have this homogeneity, right? That affinity, right? Which they may not share it with an farmer producer or any other producer, right? But I really want to challenge that notion. I don't know how, but we can definitely, maybe if we work for 5 years or 10 years through some model, why can't that notion be challenged? I as a woman if I have some source of pool of money, I would like to invest somewhere where I can also grow that, capital. So that just struck me when you were sharing that story. But yeah, I'll take it up with Raghu sometime later. uh, but yeah, to coming back on the ecosystem, right? How definitely there's a change in their focus from covering women's basic needs to truly enabling them to take control of their lives. Financially, they've been able to achieve financial independence, right? But I must say the challenges still remain. So I truly believe that investment in capacity building is not an option; it's a necessity, right? Uh, it took 20 years of investment from our parents for us to
To become
sit
what we
here
are.
to become what we are today, and we can't just expect that women to change their other supportive system, even the men, their
Right.
family,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So I truly believe that capacity building is a must. There's no question of that coming out and the focus should shift to leadership. Yes, everything is a part of that whole package. Mm, but yeah, truly the investment from these players in the ecosystem is right now going towards this uh, to the collectives, because communities when collectivized function much better. There's synergy, right? So I see that shift has already happened, and I think it should only continue to build that momentum.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking of any other big change as of now, because I can also say from my own experience, I'm very new to this space. Right? It's been only 6 years. I mean, 1 year before Catalyst, I worked somewhere else. But from the experiences that I have gained, I think this is what I could
Correct.
share. But I'm sure there's much more, and the leaders somewhere
Right.
can offer that.
And also the way in which we also want to see the impact, right? Like
Yeah.
it cannot happen one day or 1 year also for that matter. The fact that we were discussing the other day that if a woman entrepreneur or any entrepreneur starts an enterprise, we cannot see them earning 10,000 rupees the next month, right? So the first instance of impact for us should be that they were able to initiate something. They were able to step out of their comfort zone to start something. Like if I ask you or if I ask anybody in this room, would you want to open an enterprise of your own? Because it comes with so much of risk. They're already taking that huge step. So personally, with whatever I have learned over the past years, is that we should also have an eye to see that impact. Like it cannot be great always. It cannot be big numbers. It cannot be like whatever we want to see as donor or clients or something. But it is small step. It is in those small steps that we need to build on. We need to accelerate those small steps to kind of see a result maybe after 5 years, 2 years, 10 years, or in a time.
Yeah.